And all right, so we are live. Welcome to the Surviving Depression live stream. I have my guest, Jen Witkowski, with me. Jen is a former coworker and a friend of mine. And man, we both love scary movies, and I'm so excited to have you. Thanks for joining, Jen.
Thank you, Carl. I have to show you the t-shirt I'm wearing because you'll appreciate it.
Oh, introverted but willing to do. That's good. Wow. Wow,
Now,
that's perfect.
serial killers and
Wow.
horror movies kind of go along with, they're the
Yeah.
same for me.
Oh
So,
man, that's wow. That's gonna be for that last question we got, man. That that's I can't wait. That's really good. That should be a really good discussion point. So I wanna introduce Jen. I just want to read her bio to the audience. It looks like we have one person on, so thank you for joining. But I want to introduce Jen. So Jen Witkowski is a clinical provider trainer in the safety net line of business at Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield. She's a licensed clinical social worker with over 10 years of experience providing individual and group psychotherapy, case management, and crisis management. She has practiced in a primary care office, an HIV clinic, and a day treatment program for adults with severe and persistent mental illness. In her free time, Jen enjoys listening to 80s new wave, reading about serial killers, hence that t shirt she's wearing, watching documentaries about social issues, and spending time with her partner and their four-legged child, a rescue dog named Maisie. Her values are kindness, justice, knowledge, empathy, and authenticity. Wow, very good. That's just powerful. Thank you again, Jen. So, man,
thank
I'm
you,
excited.
Carl. I'm so
Yeah,
excited to be here.
yeah, we might have to do a part. I'm letting this one person know that's watching, that's visible. We might have to do a part two. So if you like this show, you're gonna have to stay tuned for part two. So we're talking scary movies. I love scary movies. Jen loves scary movies. I've shared a list with her. I think you may have shared a list with me. I'm not sure, but here we go. Right.
Yeah.
So the first question: when did you first start watching scary movies?
So you have a way better memory than I do, Carl, because I was trying to remember and I was like, I don't remember much about being like a little, but what I do remember is when I was a teenager, Stephen King was my favorite author. So I was reading pretty much all Stephen King. I was also reading Christopher Pike, if you ever heard of him.
Yeah.
Kind of scary, like young adult novels, all
Mhm.
fiction. So that's when I like kind of first remember really getting into it, and then probably started watching a bunch of movies after that.
For sure. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it started for me when I was 4 years old, and I remember seeing Poltergeist, and a lot of it wasn't like I was just by myself or anything. Like my older siblings, I'm the youngest of seven, so like my older siblings would be watching it, and I'd like sneak in and watch. But yeah, Poltergeist, The Exorcist, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, all every crazy scary thing back in that day that you can think about, I've seen it, man. And
So it's
so
like a family tradition for you, which I love.
it's like it was then. Like a lot of my siblings are, little scaredy cats now. They're like, I don't watch all that. I
Uh,
don't. Yeah, I have nightmares, and my imagination's too powerful. It's like, nah, I get just scared. Don't try to. So they have all these excuses why they don't watch them. But like myself and like my oldest sister, who kind of got me into it, she still loves them. So like I
okay.
can always kind of go to her and share some scary movies. But
Okay.
um, so do you have an all-time favorite scary movie?
Hands down, it's Poltergeist. You named it.
Mm,
Yes, that one I own. I will never not love that movie. I think it scared me from. I remember hiding in my bed with the covers over my head, like Yeah. So, I mean, that one definitely. And then just hearing about kind of the lore about, I don't know if you heard about like behind the scenes that all these
Yeah,
things were happening and people were dying, the
yeah.
actors and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, which is it? The first one you like, or the
Mhm.
second one, or
The first one. Yep.
and did you like any of the sequels at all?
I'm not a big fan of the sequels. And I mean
Yeah,
that's just in general. I feel like usually sequels don't live up to it. Not all. There
not
are
all,
some
but
sequels that like,
most of them.
yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, all right. I can't leave this question yet. So, Poltergeist, what did you like about it? What was scary about it for you?
I think the idea that something could be haunting your house and that learning about how, when we started suburban kind of sprawl, we were like digging in grave sites and especially Native American and indigenous people kind of just taking over their land, and the fact that that could come back to haunt us makes it makes a lot of sense.
Wow.
And the the creature at the end that comes out, the skeleton, the big skeleton, that is forever in my brain. That guy freaked me out.
Wow. You know what though? Since you put it, I never thought about it that way. And I would almost think as like a Caucasian, especially, right? Because I don't think like I didn't think about it as a black person. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm like me and the Indians cool. You know what I mean? But I'm just like I never thought, but that makes it a lot more scarier. Like now that you explained it that way, like you think of like, building on different lands and, properties and burial grounds. Because I think they built on a Native American burial ground.
Yep.
Because when wasn't this the one when she fell into that pool, that empty, that yeah, and all those things can oh
Oh,
yeah.
yep.
So for me, and I think this is the same one. I think this is the same poltergeist. But isn't this the one with the clown under the kid's
Yes.
bed? That was terrifying.
Yes.
Two, wasn't this the one when he had the tequila? Was it the
Yes.
was
The
it
worm.
and oh yeah, and he threw up the
Yes.
yeah. Listen, I don't have a lot of old movies on my top 50 list.
Okay.
Only because, and I gotta say this. This my disclaimer is these are movies that I'd watch over and over again in my
Mhm.
top 50. They're my best movies, but they're also ones that have a lot of rewatch value to me.
Right.
But Poltergeist is definitely a classic with like The Shining, It, all those, Child's Play. Like it's a classic for sure,
Right.
but what a bunch of like, what else I thought about with Poltergeist? Paranormal Activity 2
Okay.
actually stole or borrowed or paid homage to a scene from Poltergeist where I'm sure you recall, right? Where Caroline and the mom was like in the kitchen, and the mom stepped out of the kitchen, like the furniture was like, normal. The mom leaves, comes back, and all the chairs are stacked. That was nuts.
Yep.
That was crazy.
Yep.
And Paranormal Activity 2 paid homage to that
Oh,
scene. And
okay.
but the way they did it was, um, I think like a cabinet was open and a drawer was open. The wife of the home closed it and then like went to like look on her laptop or cell phone, and then everything in the kitchen exploded. Like all the dishes, all the silverware, everything just shot out on the floor. So instead of stacking up chairs in a neat and orderly way, they were like, "Oh well, let's do it different. Let's blow everything up." And I watched that in theaters, and it rocked me. I was like, "Oh,
Wow. All right. I'll add Paranormal Activity 2 to my list then.
that one, that one is to me now that one was so scary that I haven't watched it again yet.
Oh.
And the reason why, and this is when I think scary movies can get a little, when you kind of cross the line a little bit, for me anyway, being a, a spiritual person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, After I watched Paranormal 2, I was I was walking up, like I left theaters, drove home, was walking up my stairs at night, and I was like, there was a scene in that movie where like a demon dragged someone down the stairs, and so I'm like thinking, oh crap, is like something gonna drag me down my stairs, and then because it got in my head, so then like I'm
Mm-hmm.
laying in my dark bedroom, sleeping at night, and I don't think there was really a presence there. I mean, honestly, I can't say it wasn't because I can't see into the spiritual realm. But I was like, just like, man, I feel like something is standing like next to my bed.
Yeah.
And it was like almost like I just thought about it for a week and I'm like, you know what? I'm probably not gonna go near that one for a while. But
Yeah.
I've been able to watch like all other crazy stuff, and I'm just like, okay. But to me, honestly, for that movie, I'll tell people this. Um, for me, Paranormal Activity Part Two, it movies try to capture the nature of like what a demon or what Satan is like. I feel like Paranormal Two did that. Like
Okay.
if you wanna capture a malevolent, mean spirited, awful, just the most destructive spiritual force. That's what that was. And so
Okay.
I think for me, it just encapsulated that. And I was like, okay, I'll probably stay away from that one.
Okay. All right.
So
That's good to know. Thank you
yeah,
for that. And
but
yeah, Karen's commenting. She's
oh
like the
yeah, Karen. Oh
clown.
my god, yeah, Karen. Listen, that clown. People, yeah, people still to this day. Anyone who's seen Poltergeist when they were young and when they're older, even now, they probably check under their bed to make sure, or don't look under their bed because that kid looked under his bed
Yeah.
and the clown was on his bed. So don't look
Right.
under your bed. Don't keep stuffed animals under your bed, first of all. Right? They
Right.
don't
No.
belong under your bed anyway. So
No.
why did
No.
that dude have that clown? Like, why did he have that clown?
I don't
You know what I mean? Like, if
know.
you're scared of that clown so much, why is it even in your room?
That's a good
You know what I mean?
question. Oh no.
I
I
don't
have
know.
no idea.
That's a lot of. It's a lot of questions I could ask a lot of these directors. Like,
Yes.
and the people in the movies, like, why would you do that? Why would you
Right.
run? Why would you go over there? Why? You know,
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
But my all-time favorite, and we don't have to spend a ton of time on this because I want to, get to the other questions. But my all-time favorite, highly polarizing movie, but in my opinion, it's the best one that's been made. I got a top 10 list. I could arguably put some other ones up there, but I'm gonna go with the Blair Witch Project. It is a trailblazer of a movie, and not just because everybody thought it was real and then it was fake, but to me, even afterwards, watching it years later, a decade later, the Blair Witch Project makes the viewer use their imagination, and it keeps you guessing about who this witch is and what this witch is capable of, and that is a very scary thing. When we fear the unknown, and if you're lost in the woods, you're fighting with your friends, and you're in the dark, and you have no idea what this entity is capable of doing to you. It is absolutely terrifying, and to me, that's why that is the scariest, if not the top 5 scariest movie I've ever seen. I'll watch it at least once a year. It's just such a well done film on such a low budget, but they make you use your imagination, and they use the most common things to us: the woods, friends, conflict. So well done, you
Oh
know.
my gosh. I remember seeing that in the theater. Yes. Being in the front row. Yes, I agree. And like the hype behind it, everyone was talking about it. These three people and the actors were unknown. So the fact that like we didn't know if they were real or were they alive, what happened to them, right?
That was
Like,
crazy. That
oh
was nuts. They
man.
had a. I think you can still go. I think you can still go to the website that they had, if I'm not mistaken. But the website had videos, video footage, newspaper articles, and silly me, I went to, like, when it first came out, I did my research. I go on Netscape, or what was the other browser service back then?
Oh my
I
God.
think I think I might have been on Netscape. I can't remember the other one, but I get on my Netscape and I look up Blair Witch Project, and all the footage comes up, and I'm shook because we lived in these apartments that was backed up against these railroad tracks, Unity Park, and there were woods back there. And when I looked out my living room, our living room window, it was just pitch black, and I'm like, the witch could be out there. It
Hmm.
was just terrifying, man.
And I agree with you that that was a trailblazer. People now do a lot of camping movies where there's noises and you don't know what it
Yeah,
is, but that was definitely the first one where your imagination
yeah,
made it so much worse because you had no idea what was making those
right,
noises, the
yeah,
the sticks making
yes, that was
the oh
it,
yeah.
yeah, the stick figures, the rock piles.
Yes.
Um, the guy, they were they were walking in a certain direction for a long time, and they just kept going in circles. It's
Mhm.
like, so wait a minute, this witch has the ability to morph like space and time. Like, that's crazy, right?
Right.
So, and you know what was cool about it too is, like, they went into the backstory of the witch. Like, they were like, who is this witch? What happened with these kids? These fishermen saw her one day fishing. They saw this woman, and her feet wasn't touching the water. She was floating above. Like, it was like, and then I don't. I think I watched the extra footage, but the kid, there's a baby in there, or like a toddler, and the mom's holding him as the woman's interviewing about the documentary, and she starts saying the Blair Witch, and the kid starts crying, and so she covers the kid's ears up, and then she starts saying, like, okay, we won't talk about that. There's no such thing as that person. And then, like, the kid turned his head, and she's like, yes, it is. It is a such. And it's like, I I almost feel like it was something they did. Like, they just, like, interviewed random people and was like, whichever one is the most authentic, we're gonna use that, because
Yeah.
the kid was really crying. Like, you can't, as a
Yeah.
2 year old, you can't really act that out, you know.
Yeah. Right.
So it
Right.
was it was just a brilliant masterpiece. I
Yeah.
will die on that hill, man. Blair Witch is the bomb, man. The
Yeah.
bomb. But
I'm with you. I'm with you. All right.
you really made me think deeper about Poltergeist, though. Like, that is crazy. That is for real. Like, and you know what, though? One more thing about Poltergeist. What about that old man in part two? Do you know what I'm talking about? The guy who wore all black, the black hat, and he was
Oh,
singing the
yeah.
God is good, something. I forget his name. That
Yes.
was a creepy dude.
Yes.
He was creepy. I forget his
Yes.
name.
I forget
Um,
too.
if somebody out there, Karen said the possession, and she
Oh,
said, "What about Cabin in the Woods?" I don't think I've seen the possession. I have seen Cabin in the Woods,
I'm gonna
and
talk about Cabin in the Woods later.
oh, all right, Cat.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll wait for that then. But that guy was creepy, man.
Yes.
That guy was creepy.
Yes. He was
But
creepy. And I think just, growing up with a movie that scared you as a child just
mhm,
brings back maybe that nostalgia, or,
yeah,
being a kid again and being afraid of monsters. Like, are they really under your bed? Are they really going to pop out? Or is the TV going to talk to you? You know what I mean? Like, you believe a lot of
oh
that,
man, that's another poltergeist scene, right? When the TV was talking to Carol Ann.
Man.
Oh my goodness,
Yep.
dude, that is they.
Yep.
Wow, they have some epic scenes that people still they spin it. They don't want to make it seem like they're stealing it, or sometimes they'll pay homage. But there's a lot of really epic scenes in Poltergeist.
Yes. Yes.
Um, what about scary shows? Do you have any that you like recently or in the past? Or
Yeah. So, I have been late to the party with Criminal Minds, but I am finally on the kind of on the train, and I love it. I'm now on the last season of it. I think Hulu's got the last season, so season 15. But again, I'm a big serial killer fan, so for me it's fascinating, and I really like that they wrap it up at the end of the 30 minutes and they always catch the bad guy, or usually do. Because it makes the world feel a little safer than it really is.
Yeah.
And then Stranger Things. I love
Okay.
Stranger Things, that
Yeah.
throwback to the 80s, all that nostalgia again, because I'm a Gen Xer, a child of the 80s. So I love kind of thinking about all that stuff too.
Yeah.
So those were my favorite shows.
Okay. You know what? I saw season 1 of Stranger Things. Great show. Great acting by those teens, probably
Mhm.
adults now. You know how Hollywood, they time seem to fly. They probably like 28 now.
I know.
But the kids, great actors,
Yeah.
fantastic actors. Mine, I kind of got some more recent ones on here, and
Okay.
then a couple of older ones. But Karen seems to be the only one on right now, so I'm gonna say it to Karen and whoever else listen later. Watch only 2 seasons of American Horror Story, and you'll be set for life. Season
Okay. Which
2,
ones?
yeah. So the Asylum and then the Coven. If you watch those two, you'll be set for life. Great
Okay.
acting, brilliant, brilliant plot and storytelling. Man, oh man, I'm telling you,
All
the
right. I
Asylum.
tried. I tried season 1 and I gave up.
Oh,
So I need
yeah,
to go
don't.
to season 2.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I watched when I first got into it, I watched the first 3 episodes of season 1, and then I gave up. Then season 2 came out, and I saw a trailer, and I'm like, you know what? This actually looks good. I'm gonna watch it. Got hooked. Watched
Okay.
season 3, blown away.
Okay.
I think the 4th season was like Freak Show, and I'm like, nah, no, thank you. It was like the circus
Oh,
stuff. I'm
yeah.
like, nah, no thanks. Then the
Yeah.
Lady Gaga was in the 5th one. I was like, nah, no thanks. When you start throwing like 50 Cent, Lady Gaga, I'm like, nah, no thank. I don't want it. Too much.
Yeah.
Chris Rock did Saw. Nah, no thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
no thank you.
Okay.
Stick to rapping, stick to being a comedian. Don't touch horror. Too many people who already write horror do a horrible job. What make you think you gonna cross over like Justin Bieber or Justin Timberlake cross over to R&B? What make you think you're gonna do that and make a good horror movie? No, stick to what you do. So
Yes.
season 2 and season 3, thank
Okay.
me later.
Okay.
I promise you,
All right.
you will go away at least satisfied.
Okay.
At least, at the best, you'll be like, wow. But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, stay away from the rest.
Okay.
Stay away from the
Well,
rest.
Karen's saying hotel. Hotel.
Somebody else said something like, so if you go, I'm on the American Horror Story Facebook page, and they actually just came out with like a season 9 or something. It's like called American Horror Stories or something like that. It's like an
Okay.
anthology or something, I think. But I I'll hear whenever I'm in there, I'll hear Coven and this one. I'll always hear 2, and it'll never be the 2 same ones.
Okay.
So people, but I will say this: Coven and Asylum are always in the conversation.
Okay.
One of those are always in there, and to me,
Okay.
hands down, the 2 best ones.
All right.
But I may give season 5 a chance just because Karen mentioned it and a couple of other people mentioned it, but I'm not in a rush. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay, so for me, for all you guys out there, American Horror Story season 2 and 3, Lovecraft Country
Oh.
on
Yeah.
HBO Max is actually really good. There was a scene on there. If you just look it up, it's about these I can't remember the name of this demon character, but it was like these demon twins, and they have braids, red eyes. It is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Um, and I would have put it for our creepiest movie scene, but it was a creepy show scene. That is creepy. Go
Okay.
just look up Lovecraft Country, Scary Twins, and
Okay.
it's about I think it's like 3 separate scenes, and they're all maybe about, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds long. It is terrifying. And the music that goes along with it is so terrifying. So
Okay.
check that out.
Okay.
The show Them on Amazon. It's about a black family that moved to, is it Compton or Inglewood, somewhere in California, and it's like back in like the 1920s or to 40s, where there's like the white flight. There's some riots, and I think essentially every white person in the neighborhood wants to kill them,
Oh,
and it is terrifying.
yeah.
Um, and it's so. There's some people that, oh my God, they're glorifying black people's pain, and it's like, well, that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is how black people overcame a lot of these violent racist acts towards them, and it's the reality of America we live in. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it does play on those fears, but I
Mm-hmm.
also think it has the message of overcoming, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that was creepy. That has some scary stuff in it.
Okay.
Fear itself came out a while back, but man, oh man, Fear itself
Fear
was
itself.
fantastic.
Okay.
Um, and then my final one, which I think I've recommended you when I was working at Excellus with you, is Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix.
Okay.
I haven't seen season 2 yet, but season 1, I think like six, 5 or 6 out of the 12 episodes were unbelievable. Really
Okay.
good,
All
really
right.
good. Um,
Okay.
so, do you have a top 5 or a top 10 or a top 50? If you have, like, listen,
I
whatever you have,
do.
that's
I
what
do.
Karen wants to hear, right? Karen's
Yeah.
anxiously waiting. Karen
Right.
said, let me get the Karen question since she's so faithfully participating. Have either of you watched the show You? It's about a
Yes.
serial killer. I have not. I might watch it. I'm sure Jen has or will watch it, right?
Yes, Karen, did you see the preview for season 3? Oh my gosh. He's having a baby. Oh yeah. Oh
Is it,
yeah.
what is it on? What platform? Streaming service?
Um Netflix?
Netflix?
Yeah.
I might have to resubscribe to Netflix. It's too much, right?
I
I
know. I
mean, I
know.
got
Right.
Disney Plus, Hulu,
Hulu,
Amazon Prime, and it's like I'm not
HBO
about to get
Max.
something. Yeah, I cancel one before I get another one. So,
Man, I know. I know. I'm
but
with you. All right. Okay. So, top 5. I am kind of that old school nostalgic. So, mine are kind of older.
mhm,
Silence of the Lambs,
yes,
obviously, right?
yes,
Hannibal Lecter, the first serial killer.
yes.
Um, we've already talked about Poltergeist. So Stephen King's It, I don't love remakes, but the 2017 remake was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, I was scared of Pennywise when Tim Curry played him in the 90s, but Alexander Skarsgård or whatever his name is, holy moly, that
Yeah.
guy it gives me goosebumps. So yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like both of them are in my top 5 because they were both amazing, and again, I'm a huge Stephen King fan. So
Yeah.
and then Jaws, because listen, I'm still afraid of sharks. I'm still afraid of the bottom of my pool. I'm still like, that doesn't go away.
Doesn't.
That
That's
fear of,
Spielberg, right? Steven Spielberg did that.
yes. And Steven Spielberg actually helped Poltergeist as well. Like, Toby Hooper gets credit, but Steven Spielberg was also on as a director. So I feel like you can maybe understand why, because there's
You
just
might
some.
appreciate this. I just found this gem by the grace of God. I was I was on the internet. I don't know how I came across this, but apparently in the War of
War of the
Worlds with
Worlds.
Tom Cruise,
Mm-hmm.
apparently when him and Dakota Fanning was in the water in that basement scene, Steven Spielberg played the Jaws music to like scare them
Scare
into thinking
them?
the shark was in the
Oh
water.
my God.
I don't know where the heck I just read this at, but literally I just read it like either
That's
last night or this morning, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't think I was gonna
wow.
I
no.
didn't think I was going to use that random trivia. Oh
No, that's good. That would scare the crap out of me
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
and I agree. Like Jaws, and here's the thing, because the movies you name, they're not going to be in my top 10, but that doesn't mean they're not great. Like
Mhm.
those movies, there's so many great movies out there, horror movies, but the ones I'm gonna mention are ones that I just love rewatching, and that's why
Mhm.
they're my favorite. But it's
Yeah.
not like these ones that you're talking about are trail blazers and classics, and
Yep.
like they'll never be erased from people's memory. You know.
Right.
So you
Right.
had Silence of the Lamb, Jaws. What was the other one?
Poltergeist and
Poltergeist.
the two Stephen King's It's. Yep.
All right. So wait, the first one and then the remake.
Mhm.
Did you like part two?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought he did like they did amazing covering it. And it's a huge book, but like yeah, they got the really important parts. Yeah, so yeah.
So it definitely sounds like you're a fan of that particular remake. A lot of the remakes fall short, right?
Yeah.
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 Especially like the Nightmare on Elm Street, like, and even the Friday the 13 ones, and some of the Michael Myers ones. I'm like, what are you doing, Rob
Yeah.
Zombie? What are you doing? Like the first one was good, but then I think he did a second one. I was like, dude, you gotta stop and
No.
lay off the acid,
Yeah.
or whatever you're doing, whatever. Um, but all right, so I'll give
Let's
my
hear
top 10
yours.
real
Yes.
quick,
Yes.
and then get into like favorite scary movie scenes and scary movies that had potential, and then we got some overrated ones. I wish that this list can be so much longer, So I'm gonna be nice and just say two movies. But I'm thinking of more as we talk.
Right.
But my top 10 in no particular order. Well, maybe the Blair Witch is number one. Blair Witch, Death by Temptation, an older one. I think it was made in the 80s. Black director, producer. I think his last name is Bond. Very terrifying movie. I'd love to write like a sub story to it. It's so cool to kind of just like dig into that. Candyman, Signs, M Night
Oh.
Shyamalan, uh, Event Horizon. Oh my God, the premise.
Oh.
Listen, guys, this is good writing right here. A ship went through a black hole, went to another dimension, went to hell, came back. That's crazy. Best best sci-fi movie I've ever seen, and especially horror movie. Is one of the
Mm-hmm.
best. As above, so below. Grave Encounters, Paranormal Activity 2. I have not watched the second time yet. The Wailing, a Korean film about 2 hours and 20 minutes long. Slow burn, but worth it. I've watched it 3 times. And then Silver Bullet. I had a hard time getting my
Ah.
top 10. It was
Um,
tough. But
okay.
Silver Bullet, I put Silver Bullet on my top 10 because there's a scene in Silver Bullet that I put for scary movie scenes. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm putting it in there just for that scene alone.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so that's my top 10.
Okay.
So, favorite scary scene? Do you have
So
one?
I'm gonna go with your favorite movie. The end scene of the Blair Witch when the camera drops and you see the guy standing in the corner.
Mm,
That is by far the scare because something is.
it's going down.
Yes, for
But,
sure.
well, when they
For
were,
sure.
well, when they were, and if you haven't, it's a spoiler alert if you haven't seen Blair Witch yet.
Oh,
So it's
sorry, should
okay.
have said that first.
It's all right. So spoiler alert. But listen, this is something you will learn early in the movie. Is they were talking and they were like, look, when the witch like got these kids, they'd have them. He or she would have them in the basement, and they'd make the one kid look away at the wall while she, did something to the kid, hurt the kid. And so while that guy was looking at the wall, bam, camera went down. Oh, snaps, the witch just got him, you know what I mean? So, hey,
Oof.
It is what it is. Listen, here, Jen. I'm a redeem you right here. If you have not seen the Blair Witch yet, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, right.
You should be ashamed of yourself if you have not seen the Blair Witch Project yet. Ain't no spoilers in here. You should have saw that movie.
Right. You've had 10, 20 years, whatever, how
Yeah,
long
you
it's
know
been out.
what's wrong with y'all? Trailblazing, one of the scariest movies. That's their fault, Jen.
Okay,
Um,
good.
so Karen says, A Quiet Place, The Shining, the
Yep.
first and most recent Halloween movies. Definitely Silence of the Lamb. Uh, Want a really old creepy movie? How about Whatever Happened to Baby Jane?
That one is on my list to watch. I have not watched it yet, but
What? I've never heard of that.
it's
Whatever Happened to Baby Jane? That's the name of it.
mm-hmm.
What is it? Newer,
Yeah.
older, like
No,
old?
old. Like I don't know if it's 40s, Karen.
Oh,
Correct me,
heck
but
no!
like,
I
yeah.
can't do that. No, that's too old. What's
Oh,
the one with the vampire? With you say the 40s?
yeah.
Like World War II? It came out like nah, man. You gotta see
You
like
know,
Hitler.
okay, so Nosferatu, one of the
Yes,
early
that's
1920s.
yeah.
That
See,
that was on my top 10. That is
really,
scary.
you
It's
know what?
scary.
I haven't. I have, and this is gonna reflect poorly on me, but I don't think I've ever seen that before.
It's okay because you have to really want to see the older movies because I was actually like, what's the first scary movie ever made? And it's like The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari or something, but like
So
long, like 100
yeah,
years ago long. So
yeah.
you
And
got to be
see,
into that. Yeah.
that's the one. I don't know. Like I'm like I love scary movies, but would I? I almost question my fandom a little bit, but I'm like, would I dive? Would I go that far? And I'm almost like, no, I don't want to watch Nafru Star or Star, whatever that's.
So you know what's scary about it is it's black and white and it's silent and
Yep,
it's Dracula. So like,
yeah,
I mean, if you think about back then,
yeah.
totally you could see like how that could be scary. But
I've had someone told me recently that that was in their top. Like it's, and that's the thing. It's all subjective, right? So
it
like,
is
somebody like Blair Witch
completely.
is like crap on a lot of people's lists. They're like, ugh, absolutely disgusting crap movie, shaky camera, blah,
I
whatever.
wonder, is that younger people like
I think a
they're
lot of
younger than
younger
us?
people are definitely saying it too, but you have some people in the older crowd like, yeah, it was whack, blah.
Hmm.
Just like some of the whack ones I'm gonna bring up, So I'll bring up one that somebody out there might say, "Ooh, I love that," and I'm like, "Well, I didn't like it. It was absolutely garbage."
So
But
name your favorite scenes because I agree with you on some of these.
so okay, for the listeners out there, pay very close attention. The Conjuring 2, the Conjuring universe. First of all, let me just say this: Conjuring, the universe. Annabelle, Insidious, The Nun. I think for the most part, it's a whack universe. It's okay, but a lot of the movies are just not good. They're not good. They're just commercial hype. But Conjuring one and Insidious one were absolutely amazing. Good movies. They made my top 50 list. Uh, but there's a scene in The Conjuring 2 where the demon nun is standing in the hall, and I don't even have to describe it because you could just watch the scene on YouTube. I don't want to give it away, but just type in The Conjuring 2 demon nun scene, and it's gonna blow your mind. It is one of the best and most frightening scenes in scary movies that I've seen in a long. I was genuinely terrified. Rest of the movie, I was like, yeah, it was okay. If the movie was based off of that scene alone, this movie would be epic. It would be one of the best movies ever. If it kept that same tone. I'm a big tone person. Like if you can make me feel terrified and make me care for the characters and just make me feel a certain way and
Mm-hmm.
set a certain tone
Yeah.
throughout the movie, you got me hooked.
Yeah.
That's what the movie Devil did with the people in the elevator. M. Night Shyamalan produced it. M. Night Shyamalan
Mm-hmm.
produced it. Devil, you ever see that one?
Devil. Uh-uh.
What? You didn't see Devil? Listen.
When did that come out?
Oh
I
my, listen.
thought I've seen
Devil,
all of his stuff.
No, listen, because I think he produced it. He didn't direct it this time. He produced it.
Oh, okay.
But okay, so Devil came out maybe 8 to 10 years ago.
Okay.
It's about six strangers get into an elevator in this big office building in Philadelphia downtown, and one of them is the devil. It is it is nuts, and it's not like there's so much stuff going on around the elevator. Like it's not just all elevator, and it could have been a good movie even still if it was just all elevator. But there's a ton of crazy supernatural stuff happening outside of the elevator, but in the elevator, somebody is the devil.
Oh,
And let me tell you, when I say tone, when I say creep factor, this movie from the start to the finish, from the music to the dark clouds in the sky to the lighting, everything, it's just a very creepy movie. It's very
okay.
unsettling, very
Okay.
unsettling. And so uh that probably could have made my favorite scary scene. But anyhow, I'll move on.
Okay.
Introduction to 28, all these you can look up on YouTube, all of them. The intro to 28 Weeks Later was absolutely crazy. The rest of the movie, bad. Didn't like it.
Oh, it's in my top 10. I liked it.
What? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's all
Yeah,
right.
you know what? I like 28 Days Later. 28 Weeks Later didn't do it for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant 28 days. You
Oh, okay.
28
So,
weeks.
all
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Whew.
Okay.
Okay, so it isn't. It's all right.
Yep.
I feel like we agree on a lot of movies. That's why I was
Yes.
kind of disheartened. But
Yes.
we got to have something we disagree on.
I know.
Let's see. Okay, so Silver Bullet. You can YouTube this too. If you just type in uh, transformation in the church, Silver Bullet. So the pastor is in the church, and all the congregants turn into werewolves, and it's a pretty creepy scene, man. I'm like,
Yes.
yo, it's scary.
Yeah.
Uh, the Mist. I won't get into any details, but the last scene of the Mist, dang,
Yep.
like
I
it's
am with you.
jarring.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I know
What?
that that
No.
all I'm gonna say is that there's creatures throughout that film, but man, when I saw that creature, I was like, all right, it's getting real out here.
Oh
Um,
man.
Event Horizon. I gotta just spend a little time on this one because man, oh man, that scene, um, it I I almost don't want to say it because it kind of gives stuff away because it's like in the middle. It's in like the middle, almost the climax of the movie,
Mhm.
or like the at least leading up to the climax. But you already know. So if you've been listening, and as I have you seen the Event Horizon, Jen?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've already kind of said it anyway. Like the ship went to hell and came back, and I think that's in the description and all that. So the one of the guys on the ship is translating the message of the people who went to this place, and he says to Lawrence Fishburne, "Yo, listen, I think I got the translation wrong. I thought they were saying save save us from ourselves, but or save us from yourselves." But he said I listened a little bit more, and actually they said save yourselves from hell. And I'm like, whoa, man! I went to the theaters to see that one, and
Oh
that sat with me
man.
for a while.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
never forget. I went with my friend, my man DeWitt Doss. I think I was like in ninth. He might have been in 10th, or I was in 10th, and I can't remember. But we went, and I don't know how it affected him, but that stuck with me for a while. But those are my scary movie scenes, man. You know,
Yeah.
uh, what about movies with potential?
So I really couldn't come up with any on this one.
Yeah,
So I'm curious to hear what you'll say about that.
I have two.
Okay.
Oh, Karen, The Village is on my Village is in my top 50. It's
Mhm.
like right in my top 10, top 11, top 20. Let's say that Village was fighting
Yeah.
for a number 10 spot.
Yep.
If I didn't say it, did I say the Village? Nope. It was on there originally though. I had Village in there. Um, so for me, the movies with the most potential, and you gotta watch them just to see what in the world I'm talking about, because man, I'm telling you. But The Witch is one of them. And to me personally, The Witch had an excellent. I told you I'm a big tone mood person.
Mhm.
The Witch had a very good way of setting tone.
Mhm.
It gave me a feeling like The Village, which
Mhm.
Karen just mentioned. The Village is a very good movie and does a great job of setting a certain tone and a feeling where you're
Yeah.
like, this is unsettling.
Yes.
Um, The
Yes.
Witch is just like that, but to me, the payoff wasn't good.
Mhm.
And for me as a viewer, my greatest pet peeve is do not build the movie up to let me down at the end. I would rather be average all the way through than like the Conjuring movies for the most part. They're pretty average all the way through, except for Conjuring 1 and Insidious 1. But most of them are just average all the way through.
Yeah.
If they would have did that, I would have been satisfied. But The Witch had a lot of potential. The other one, which I would highly recommend watching, just to say I agree with Carl, that had a lot of potential, but it was a big letdown. Was The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Hmm.
Autopsy of Jane Doe, man, the build up, the acting, the plot. Oh my god, it was just masterfully. Oh, it was. I was like, man, this is gonna be my top 10 movie. One of my got to like the last 30 minutes, and I was like, what? Did you guys? What? I don't know. I was just like, wow, but this had potential.
Huh.
So, and some people might watch that and say, you know what? Because people still do love it. Like, there's tons of people that love it. But to me, it was like an epic letdown. Just
Yeah.
like the most overrated scary movies.
Oh, you
I,
know, I'm gonna make some people mad for sure on these because I just didn't get it, but they're two. It Follows and Cabin in the Woods.
oh,
I was like, "What? What is this? This is ridiculous." I couldn't get it. So
yeah,
sorry for all you fans out there. No, not my. I was like, "What? Really? That was it? Really?
yeah.
No."
That I thought I like Cabin in the Woods.
Okay.
It wasn't like it didn't make my top 50, but it was. I thought it was definitely entertaining, and I did like that it didn't follow like some of the things in there was like shocking, like like when certain people died, I was like, oh wow, I didn't expect
Mhm.
that to happen.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that movie has potential. Someone mentioned it in the Facebook horror group that I'm in. I think it's called like Horror Hedonist or something. But what I like about the potential of Cabin in the Woods is the backstory. Like, how did all
Mhm.
this come about? And I
Mhm.
think you could, if someone uses their creativity and like don't screw up the movie, you could make a really good film about how that came about.
Mhm.
Um, but I was a fan of It Follows. It didn't make my top 50, but I was like, okay, different. I like it, but I wouldn't say it's like my favorite. It's not in my top 50. But I will say for me, my two that I think are overrated, and this was just kind of on a whim. World War Z, I picked that
Mhm.
one.
Mhm.
Um, I do have another one, by the way, but I'm gonna tell the other one first. The Babadook, I like to call it the Babadook
Mhm.
because the film was just dookie. It was not good. So many people talk. I'm like, that film is garbage. The Babadook I didn't like. World War Z I didn't like. And you know what's
Mhm.
another one that a lot of people are gonna drag me for is the train to Busan.
Oh,
That
really? You told me to watch that. I thought it was kind of
I,
good.
I think I did at the time. I was like, you know what? It's different. It's a different type of zombie movie. It's I don't know if it's I think it's Korean. I was like, it's a Korean film. I don't typically like Korean films. I like the, you know, I like The Wailing, and I like. I Saw the Devil was absolutely amazing, but I saw. And it, wait, have you seen that? Have
Mm-mm.
you saw? Oh my! Listen, it's
No.
a serial killer movie.
Oh, I saw
I,
the
I
devil.
Saw the Devil. Yeah, listen, that is a. I think the same guy who did that did The Wailing too.
Okay. Okay.
That is an amazing film,
Okay.
and I don't necessarily classify it as horror that much because it doesn't really scare me that much.
Okay.
It's more like suspense or thriller to me.
Right.
But that's
Right.
one you gotta watch. I
Okay.
Saw the Devil, but
Okay.
Train to Busan, or however you say it,
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. A lot of people are putting it like up there, up. Oh, it's about raw. And to me, it's not like if people are like it's okay, you should check it out. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
But people rave about it. Like they
Yeah.
rave about it. And to
Yeah.
me, I'm like, it's overrated. It's not
Yeah.
that good. It's
Yeah.
okay. Like it's worth watching. Like I'm not saying it's an awful movie. It's worth watching, but it's better than the Babadook. It's better
Yeah.
than World War Z. How about that? But it is not. It's not like great. It's not a. It's a 3-star movie, maybe three and a half at best. Not a
Okay.
4-star, 5-star movie. So
Okay.
that's why it would be overrated to me. It's not a bad movie. It's just not great, and it's definitely better than those other two. Um,
Okay.
what about movies that are disturbing that you wouldn't watch again?
So I'm with you because I know you're going to talk about yours, and I am with you on yours. But I also anything torture porn, Hostel, not Saw one, but the other Saws, anything by Eli Roth, anything by Rob Zombie, The Hills Have Eyes, his remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Sexual violence I cannot take, and maybe I'm just too old now or what, but
Nah,
like I can't
I
take
don't. I
it.
don't like it either. I don't get it. I
No,
just like to
nope.
me, if you have it in there, but there's other things, I'm okay with that because you're not just like relying only on that. But you got to have a great story, great
Right,
acting, great other stuff, and not
right.
just gore. Just like I'm not a fan of jump scares. Jump scares are so cheap to me. It's a
Mm-hmm.
cop out. It's like
Mm-hmm.
when shows and movies just have sex scenes. It's like that's a cop out.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody could do that. Anybody from the streets can make a scene like that. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't take art. It doesn't take talent. You could jump and scare somebody. But
Yep.
write something scary
Right.
and have someone act it out and put it into visual form and scare somebody. That's art. And I think
Yeah.
people just get lazy. They're like, yeah, let's just do some killing, there's blood. And then there's genuine fans that like it. Like in that
Yeah.
Facebook, there's fans that are like, yeah, more blood, the more gore, the more I love it. And I'm like,
Yep.
now,
Yep.
and that that kind of leads into our well, we got one more question before we get into that last question. Um, Favorite scary movie villain?
Wait, talk about your two
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
disturbing
sorry.
movies because I agree
I'm
with you.
sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. Getting ahead of myself. Um, Midsummer, man. Oh man, God have mercy
Ugh.
on those directors who made that movie. That director and Hereditary, man.
Oh,
Listen,
uh,
it made directed by the same person. Um, very, very disturbing
disturbing.
movie. I watched both of
Disturbing.
them twice just to kind of because I was so unsettled watching them. So unsettled. It was very gory, very different movies. I'll give it that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say at the very least, if you're a scary movie fan, check it out. Like
Yeah.
I don't think you want to not watch those as a scare because
Right.
they're, they're they're definitely different, man. But goodness, you want to talk about the epitome of feeling unsettled and not in a entertaining way either, like a
No.
very disturbing. No, thank you. Um, it just didn't vibe with me well, and so I'm not saying that people because there's people that love it. This is in
Right.
people's top 10, and some people say
Right.
best movies, best scary movies ever created. And for what they did, I think yeah, they are interesting, but very disturbing, and I just kind of get a little sick thinking about them. So
Hmm.
I'm not watching those again. I
Hmm.
don't think I'll lose any sleep or feel like I'm missing anything if I don't watch those again. But
Hmm.
they were just disturbing to me. But
Yep,
yeah, I wouldn't watch those again, and
I'm with you.
maybe watch it once or watch some of it if you want. But just to say you as a fan, you saw it, but nah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
so favorite scary villain.
Um, so I don't have a villain from a movie, but the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt
Oh God, how
would
did I not put that on my show?
keep me
That's
up.
one of my favorite shows.
Woo, woo!
Yes,
That guy was
the Crypt
scary,
Keeper. The Crypt Keeper. Yeah,
scary,
I thought it
scary.
was a woman for the longest.
Oh, even
That's
scarier.
I yeah, I was like, yo, what's up with this lady's hair? Like, you don't have no hair? Like, put a wig on, put a weave in, something. I was like, dang. So I
Oh,
thought it was a woman, and then I can't remember how I found out it was a guy. I think he might have said something like, I think he might have referred to himself like as a he or something. I was like, oh, it's a guy.
yeah.
But yeah, the Crypt Keeper.
Well,
Uh, there's two I still have to watch. And I think Karen mentioned it, The Orphan. I have to watch The Orphan,
yeah, I
and I
haven't
have
seen
to
it either.
watch The Orphanage. I think.
Yes, I want to
Yeah,
see the orphanage.
I gotta
Yes,
watch that. I've
Guillermo
heard.
del Toro. Yes,
Yes, yes. Oh,
yes.
and I still haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth yet,
Oh, that's a good one.
and
That's a
I
good one.
did see a clip from there, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is a kids movie? Like this was marketed towards kids, and I saw like when she was in that like dining hall with that, I don't know what the heck type of monster that was. I gotta say this, man. There's so many. I didn't say my top 50 list. I don't know if we have time to go through that, but man, the Cell. Wait, that's right. We didn't do our most underrated ones, did we?
Yes, we did.
We did. Okay, I
Oh,
gotta throw. I
go ahead.
gotta throw the Cell on there.
Okay.
The Cell with Jennifer
Jennifer
Lopez.
Lopez and Vincent
And yeah,
D'Onofrio. Yep.
oh my, listen, that was visually, it was a masterpiece. But
Mm-hmm.
man, and then as a therapist and a psychiatrist and whoever else, and serial killer, man, that was a one of the most underrated films I think I've ever seen. Wait, did we do underrated? I don't think we did.
Oh, I'm sorry. We did overrated, but not
Wait,
underrated.
oh man, listen, The Cell. Um, there's a movie called Bone Tomahawk. It's like a western almost.
Okay.
Who's in it? I think Kurt Russell and I think the guy from The Conjuring is in it.
Oh,
That
okay.
was a listen. Someone recommended me that. I'm like the title of that movie sounds awful. Like I,
Yeah.
I don't want to go touch it with a 6 foot pole.
No.
That movie was good. Bone
Okay.
Tomahawk is in my
Okay.
top 50.
All right.
Um, I'm telling you, I can't even. I'm telling you, you'll see it and you'll be like, "Whoa, whoa! I didn't see this coming." It's so good. It's so good. I'm telling you, all the way to the
Okay.
end. It's a very good movie.
Okay.
Um, I can't remember what my other ones were because I don't have the list. But The Cell,
Oh,
Bone Tomahawk. Um, I can't remember the other ones, but
okay.
uh, I don't want to. I'll probably leave that last question out, but I at least want
Hmm.
to ask you, like, uh, who is your villain? Who's your scary movie villain?
Um, it would probably be Freddy Krueger, just
Mm,
because I mean, you have to sleep, and that song, "One Two, Freddy's
yeah.
Coming for You," like you never forget that song, and you have to sleep. So yeah, he's my villain.
How about that bus scene too? Like when he in part one when he became the bus driver. Like
Yes.
I think for decades, every time I seen a yellow school bus, I thought Freddy Krueger's gonna take over that bus
Oh
and drive it
no.
over a cliff like he did
Oh
in the movie.
God. Oh yeah.
um,
Oh,
that was crazy. She get on the bus to go to school, and then he's like, "You thought I was gone? I'm gonna drive you a little sick.
Yeah.
For me, it's the very opposite. It's Jason.
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees
Okay.
is no joke, and I like Jason because he don't talk. You don't know what Jason thinking. You don't know where he hiding. He
Yeah.
just pop up on you.
So
And,
why
and
not Michael Myers? Because he's very similar.
he is, but I think because Jason, I think because I started with Jason like as a
Okay.
kid. I
Okay.
seen Michael Myers like when I was 7. I saw Jason when I was like 4 or 5.
Okay.
And Jason, the hockey mask, he's brolic. He's just so just you don't want to mess with. And he got a
Mhm.
machete. Like I don't
Mhm.
know. I won't run up. I wouldn't run up on any of them, but I'm
Yeah.
not running up on Jason. Like
Yeah.
I Buster Rhymes in one of the Halloween movies punked Michael Myers. I'll never forget it. He look it up YouTube like Buster Rhymes and one of the Michael Myers like part 18 or whatever. He was like I can't remember what he said to him, but he Michael Myers he told Michael Myers to leave the house, and Michael Myers left. And I'm like,
What?
this is all by itself is bad. You can't tell Michael Myers
Oh
or
no.
Jason to leave and they just leave. But
No.
Jason Voorhees, goodness, Jason Voorhees,
Oh,
Crystal
Karen
Lake.
saying Mama is her favorite villain.
I did not like. Oh, Mama as a villain, yes. As a
Mhm.
movie, pluh. Uh, that's that's on the overrated list. That's on
Oh,
the overrated. I forgot
okay.
about that one.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no offense, Karen, but listen, if you hear some of mine, you could put them on the overrated list too. But Mama was one of those. I didn't like Mama. Um, all right. Well, I'll
Yeah.
wrap it up because we
Okay.
listen, Jen. I told you this was gonna be one of my. This is my favorite show.
For
This is,
sure. This is
and it went for
awesome.
an hour. Look, it never. You
Yeah.
can look at all my other shows. They have not gone for an hour. They've gone at most 45 minutes. Scary movies, theology, Buffalo Bills, food, travel. Man, listen, forever. But listen, Jen, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Karen, thank you for your wonderful contributions.
Yes.
Anybody else who listens later, please
Yes.
leave a comment on YouTube, Facebook Live, wherever it's at. And man, this was great, Jen. We got to do a part 2.
Oh yeah, for
We got to
sure.
do it. How about this? How about this? Let's do a part 2 around Halloween. Yes, let's
Yes.
do that.
Or
Let's do
yes.
that.
All
Mark
right,
it in
I'm
the
there.
calendar
I'm
around
there.
Halloween. Whatever
Yeah,
Tuesday or Wednesday around close to Halloween. Let's do that.
I am there. Yes. Now I've got more time to watch more movies.
There you go. Well, all right. Hey guys, thank you for joining. Jen, thank you for joining. I'll talk to you a couple of minutes after the broadcast ends, so just hold on. But thank you guys for joining out there for listening to the Surviving Depression live stream. As I said before, I wanted to kind of, take a little turn and have a little fun time like we did a couple weeks ago. I hope this was helpful and happy for some of you. So thank you for joining and talk with you next time.